We are fortunate to have Padmashri Dr. Gowrishankar, who is the CEO and Chief Administrator of the Sringeri Sharada Peetham since 1986. So I have here some questions given by our devotees of SVBF Canada that I'll be asking him and he will be answering them. So, sir, first question is, what is your role as an administrator in religious matters?
Sringeri Mutt is a big institution. Any institution, as you are aware, will have some administrative work to be done if it has to run in a proper way. Even a religious institution has several roles to play. The main object may be religious activities, but along with religious activities, there are so many other activities which have to take place, and even religious activities have to be done in a particular way to meet the needs of the devotees. So there is some administrative work involved even in a religious institution, and in a big institution like Sringeri Mutt, which is called a Mahasamsthanam. It is like a government. You can call Sringeri Mutt as a mini government. There is so much of administrative work which is to be taken care of. As the spiritual head and the pontifical head of the Peetham, the Jagat Guru may not be inclined to get himself involved in the day-to-day activities. So he will dwell that responsibility onto somebody on whom he has faith, he believes in him, and give that responsibility to him. We in Sringeri Mutt have more than 180 branches and more than 3,000 people working for us. So you can assume how much of work will be involved, which is not directly religious, but which helps us in doing the religious work. That's how the administrator has a role cut very clearly. He will not involve in any spiritual activity directly, but he will be helping the institution in maintaining the spiritual activities.
So you were an entrepreneur before getting involved with
I was an entrepreneur.
So how did you get involved in the Mutt?
My family had a connection with Sringeri Mutt for more than 120 years. My forefathers were involved in various activities serving the Mutt. In 1986, I got an opportunity when Holiness asked me whether I can join the Mutt in serving them. I was a bachelor at that point of time and thought I could take the risk. And I got into the Mutt to serve. And slowly I started spending more time there.
So this is an appointed role directly from the Holiness?
I am not an employee of the Mutt. I am a Shishya of the Mutt, that's all. So I do an honorary work.
So the next question is, many devotees asked, is why does His Holiness does not travel by air, or why hasn't he moved from India?
Holiness sticks to certain tradition that has come for a long time. Our Mutt is one of the very few institutions where the old traditions are still being maintained. In fact, till 1930s, the Holiness was only moving by walk. But in 30s, they switched over to at least moving by vehicle. They can travel only for about 2 hours in a day. They can't travel beyond that because their schedule demands that type of a routine. In a typical day, the Holiness will start his routine at about 4:30 in the morning. After his Anushtanam at 6:37, he will have darshan at the Adhishtanams of his Guru and then take a class for his students. And only by 8:39 he will finish the class, and then by 9:30 he is again available for devotees for giving darshan and day offering puja, etc. And then around 12 again he has to go for his anikam, and then at about 1:32, once the bhiksha is over, then he again will have to come out for darshan of the devotees. Then he has to interact with the administrator to find out what is happening or on a day-to-day basis. Then he has to come again, do his anikam and come for the puja at 7:38 in the night. And by the time the puja is over and he gets back, it will be 10:30. After that is his studies.
Okay.
In such a hectic schedule where starting 4:30 in the morning till 11:30 in the night, he is always occupied.
Yeah.
If we have to maintain the same schedule and same tradition and do it in the same way, it's impossible to travel beyond 2 hours whenever he is on a yatra.
Okay.
And he can travel for about 60-80 kilometers in a day, even if he travels by car.
Okay.
So that's a tradition that has come. Probably they don't want to change the tradition.
Okay. So if we were to...
And as per our Dharma Shastra, crossing the seas is forbidden.
Okay.
So that's how they don't want to trespass that dharma.
Okay. So if you were to travel from Bangalore to Chennai, he would take 2 hours. Every 2 hours he would.
We would have at least 6 to 7 camps.
Okay.
From Sringeri to Chennai is 660 kilometers.
Mm-hmm.
He started on his Vijay Yatra on February 26th in Sringeri. He reached Chennai on June 14th.
Oh, okay. Okay.
That is a type of program that we will have.
Mm-hmm.
Every place we will have a devotee, group of devotees who would like him to stay, give darshan, talk to them for a few hours and do puja there and stay for a night. So this schedule will go on. There will be so much of requests from various people.
Okay.
And the camp takes place like that. In 1950s, when our then Guru did a yatra, he was touring for 6 years only in southern part of the country.
Okay.
That's how the tradition is.
Mm-hmm. So what are your plans for SVBF Canada? More expansion in more Canadian branches, or?
I don't know. In Canada, we may not have more branches because there is not much request coming.
Yeah.
But in Toronto itself, where this branch is, definitely a lot of more activities will come in.
Okay.
We want to expand the services that we are giving to the devotees in and around this place, various ways. I'm sure in a span of 6 to 12 months, a lot of new services that people would really look for in maintaining their culture and tradition would come in here, so that they can feel satisfied that if they were to be in India or in their place, what they would have done, they can do here also.
Okay.
Which I'm sure is lacking as of now.
So the next question is more administrative. It says, so once the senior executives decide to allocate budget to make some building or make some extensions to the temple, it says approximately how long does it take to complete that project from start to finish, and what all is involved, and how much input comes from the holiness?
It depends on the project,
Okay.
project to project. If it is a small project, there have been instances where we have completed a project within 3 months, 4 months.
Okay.
Like in Madurai, recently we renovated a temple. We started in January, we finished it in May, and when holiness was there, we did the Kumbhabhishekam.
Okay.
That was only about 2 crore project.
Okay.
There are certain projects which take through 3 to 4 years also. In India, getting approvals is not very difficult for any temple project.
I see.
But
Okay.
if it is any other project like infrastructure we are bringing in, it does take time.
Okay.
But once we have the approvals, in Sringeri Mutt as a policy, we don't venture to start the project unless we have the required fund. If we need X, if we have X with us, then only we start.
Okay.
We don't go to anybody with a request for funding it, nor do we take any loan. We don't believe in that.
Okay.
If we have the fund with us, we start the project. If we
Okay.
don't have the fund with us, we just keep quiet.
Okay.
So once we start the project, it is only the time required
Yes.
for completing it. Physically, what is to be done, that is the time that's required. Because of any finance, the project will not get delayed.
And you are an engineer by educational background.
Yeah, I'm an engineer and a qualified manager also.
Okay. So how has that helped you in taking the administrative?
Background of engineering does help in implementing things. Does help.
So another question is, so the Toronto Sringeri temple design is very good. So who designed it, and who made all the wonderful murtis?
The architectural part was designed by engineers in Canada. We had hired an architect who did it. The temple architecture was done by sthapatis from India. We got everything done in India and shipped it to Toronto and got it assembled here. And the murtis have been done by sthapatis in Rajasthan, because it is all marble murtis.
And are these the same sthapatis that were involved in constructing the?
Yeah. This sthapati is the same. He has done it for us in Stroudsburg.
Okay.
He is doing it in Sringeri also. He built our Shankara temple, Adi Shankara temple.
Okay.
Now we are constructing a Rajagopuram which is 127 feet in height. The same brother of the same Sthapathi is doing it.
Okay. And in our Toronto temple, we have two very knowledgeable priests. So how long does it take for them to go through their entire education, and what all is involved in their education?
Usually these priests, they join our Pathshala at the age of 8 or 9. And it takes about 6 years for them to come to undergraduate level. Many students just drop out after the undergraduate level, because if they want to continue profession as a self-employed Ritvik, that qualification is enough. He can go with some senior man and continue his earning. But if they want to get little more qualification, they do join us and spend another 2 to 3 years getting more qualification. The two priests who are here in Toronto, they have done their education in Sringeri and Bangalore. They are highly qualified, and one of them is a graduate also.
Okay. So other than the mantras, what else do they learn? And do they live in the Pathshala during?
Yeah. It's all residential. So all Pathshalas are residential.
Okay.
They have to follow a very strict regime. It's all residential. And usually for the first 6 years, 7 years when they are in the undergraduate level, they only do the learning part of it.
Okay.
But after that, we do train them in various other things.
Okay. So finally, the last question is, can you just give us a brief sort of overview of Advaita? I know it's a very difficult topic.
It's not a difficult topic, it's the easiest topic.
Okay.
People do think it's difficult. Advaita is the easiest thing.
Okay.
Non-duality is the simplest thing. I and you are same is all that Advaita says.
Okay.
But the complexities involved in understanding it is so huge that I think a 1 minute answer for that will not do any justice.
Definitely.
Advaita is not something which has been propagated, which has been started by Adi Shankara as being told by all the people. This Advaita is there since the day Sanatana Dharma started. That is for several centuries. By Sanatana Dharma we mean the eternal law. So this also has been eternal. This Advaita has been propagated in all our texts, Vedas, Shastras, all talk about Advaita. But when the practice of Advaita got diluted, Adi Shankara rejuvenated it. So in the strict sense, Adi Shankara is not the originator for Advaita philosophy. He is only a rejuvenator of Advaita philosophy. Our Shastras only talk about Advaita. The interpretations of others have been little different, and they look at it in a different way. But our basic thing, whatever our texts of Sanatana Dharma talk about, is all Advaita. That's what we followers of Shankara believe.
I think that's all the questions that I have from the devotees. So on behalf of all the devotees and the volunteers, I thank you for patiently answering all the questions.
Through this website, I want to make a request to all the devotees who follow through this website the activities of SVBF Canada and activities of Sringeri Mutt, that they should plan a visit to Sringeri. They should come to Sringeri. Sringeri is a very nice place. Even in this modern era, there is one place where you can get good air, good water, good atmosphere to look for, peaceful greenery, and a place where you can sit and meditate in front of Goddess Sharada. And of course, the most charming, free food and free place to stay. So all these are, I think, attractive enough for all followers to plan a trip to Sringeri, visit Sringeri, have darshan of Goddess Sharada and the Jagadguru. I wish all the devotees the best and hope to see them at Sringeri as and when possible.
Thank you. Thank you very much.